Hello everyone. I'm going to wait for a few more people to get in here. I know I've got a handful of people that are going to join me tonight. Not many because I do go live later in the evening. And that can be a bit of a setback when you're trying to get people to watch your lives. Had to think about what I was saying. It is getting late here. I am just sitting around editing video tonight and kind of fed up with it. It's not that I don't like the video that I'm editing tonight. It's kind of more along the lines of the clips are just so long that it's just a headache, and I'm starting to split the clips up so I don't have to mess with them and run them back and forth. Hey Lawrence, it's good to see you in here. Did I catch you over on caught you on another live earlier. Either way, glad you're here with me, Lawrence. Glad you stopped to check it out. I was going to get into tonight a few issues about my cameras and the cameras that I use, because once in a while, not often, believe me, it does not happen often, but once in a while I get a standout pic or really good piece of video that I get tons of compliments on, and sorry, allergies are kind of bugging with me a little, and I kind of wanted to point at the fact that it's not always the camera equipment. A lot of times it's just being the right place, the right time, the right location, and you get a really good shot. Once again, I don't consider myself a standout photographer. I consider myself a better than average videographer. Video's mainly what I've worked with for the last 15 years, and I was really into photography at one point in time, and photography is very iconic. It's very definitive. Video kind of tells a different story, and I thought about this earlier, of how to explain the differences between photography and videography. And I came up with the scenario of, look at a still picture of someone laying on the ground, and there's two people standing over them, and their arms are extended down towards the person. With a photograph, you can't always tell what's going on. With the video, you can. Hey KY Constrictors, good to see you. So I thought about this scenario where, imagine a person has fallen on the ground, and there's two people standing over them, and their arms are reaching down to this person. The first thing that comes to my mind is this person has fallen down, and these people are trying to help him up. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Now, I look to the good side of humanity maybe a little too often. I asked someone else what they would think if they saw that picture, and they exclaimed, well, maybe they pushed the guy down and now they're trying to mug him. And I thought, that's a great point. Sherry Lynn, glad to have you on. Glad you're here. Glad you could make my live. I was in some of yours earlier. Sorry, I wasn't there for the whole thing. But anyway, definitely no disrespect meant to photographers, photography people. We have some amazing reptile photographers in the state of Oklahoma that if you pull up like hashtag Snakelahoma or Oklahoma Snakes on Instagram, you'll start seeing some of the guys that I'm talking about. They just do these amazing photographs under immense conditions. It's one thing to take a really stunning photograph or a video. It's another thing to take a really stunning photograph or video of a snake that is venomous, that can bite you, and dodging cars, managing your equipment, managing the snake all at the same time. Oftentimes, this occurs without help. A lot of the times, the videos I shoot and the photographs some of my friends take, a lot of times they're out night cruising by themselves. Maybe they have one other person with them. And so really, it's kind of like, it's not the same concept as photographing a flower, where the flower is still, the flower's not going to run away, and all you have to worry about is your surroundings, the light, things like that. But back to what I was originally saying earlier is video tells more of the story behind the situation. Some photographers can do that better than others, and then some really can't at all. And then it kind of depends on the photograph. Like I said, you can take a person laying on the ground and two people standing over them. Are they trying to help him? Did they knock him down? Are they trying to rob him? Without the video to put it in context, you don't really get a good idea of what's happening just from a photograph. And that's why, I think that's one of the reasons why I like to do video a little more than photography. However, I'm starting to take an interest in macro photography. I've been following one person's channel who does a lot of how-tos and stuff, and I have a decent camera for that thing. I need to up my lens game a little. But, right on, Sherry Lynn. Hopefully it will not be biting you. Definitely. But anyway, a lot of times people are like, man, I love this video of yours, and I want to know what kind of camera you shot it with. Well, generally I'll tell you, it's not like anything I use is top secret or even super expensive. A lot of times, though, you could get the same shot with a video camera that's less expensive, that doesn't have as high resolution, and it's just the matter of being in the right place at the right time in the right situation. So anyway, that being said, I don't have it right here in front of me. I wish I did, because I was going to show you the first video camera I owned. I know I have it somewhere. This is what I started out with, like around 2006, 2007, and it was called a Sony Bloggie. You can find them out there today on Amazon if you're lucky. Don't expect any support from this is Sony on those, because they're very, very outdated. I think Sony quit making them like 10 years ago. But sometimes I've gotten amazing video with that. A lot of times I've got two GoPros. This is my 8, And I also have a 4 running around somewhere, and I probably wouldn't use the 4 a lot today just because the 8 can perform so much better. A lot of people are into the 9s and 10s or the Maxes, and those are great cameras too. Um, Honestly, outside of like landscape shots and things like that, I do not use my GoPro a lot. A lot of people ask me, "Do you use a GoPro?" No, I don't use a GoPro for a lot of things. There are some things that GoPros are just amazing for, and specialty shots, things like that. And I also have some ideas for those that I might try to work into something in the future. And but anyway, a lot of after the Sony Bloggy that I used, and I wore out one. The first version I got was not bad. The second version of it was not as good as the first. It was not as well made, and I didn't really like it much. It screwed up a lot of the files. The files didn't transfer properly. I don't think the camera was good. I think they tried to go with a new camera maker, and it just really didn't work out. But this was one of my first steps away from the Sony Bloggy, and it's a Sony CX260. This was a 1080 high definition camcorder back around 2009, 2010. It shoots in 1080, and it gets a really good picture. Even today, I still will use one of these from time to time. Um, if you have good lighting and you have a good subject, this is still a very viable camera. I definitely have not thrown these away or sold them off. I've got two or three of them sitting around, and the Sony CX260, had to keep looking at it. This used to be like a $600-700 camera. The first one I bought, I think it was around $400, $500, somewhere in there. And today these are like $150 at Walmart. I don't think they get up to 4K these days. Maybe they've upped their game. I don't know. But anyway, I got away from these in favor of another one that I will show you in a minute. Hey, Immortal Herper, glad you made it. I know doing these late night lives, not a lot of people can catch them, but I also don't mind, doing a live with a smaller audience. But after the Sony Bloggy, and please, man, do yourself a favor if you're into videography and you don't know what a Sony Bloggy is, Google it. Because what it looks like is it looks just like a cell phone. And it looks just like a cell phone, but it's got like a wicked video screen. And honestly, I think that's kind of why they went away, because you can pretty much do the same thing with a cell phone now that you can with a Sony Bloggy, and now the cameras in the cell phones are better. Yeah, it is 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. here, Immortal. I can't remember where you're located, but it is 2 a.m. in the Central Time Zone. And I should do a giveaway with my old camcorders. That's not a bad idea. I probably should. I should look at finding some people that want to start getting into videos, um, and do that. Tennessee is 2 a.m. Are you in West Tennessee? I thought Tennessee was Eastern. I may be wrong, Eastern time, but maybe I'll do that, Immortal. If okay, gotcha. Maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll auction off or do a giveaway with one of my old camcorders, and I'll leave the data card in too. But I owned about three of these. I owned about three of these guys, and this one is not charged. It's dead. But you open it up, you can see what's on the screen. Um, it was fairly good. You'd need something to shade this if you were shooting in sunlight. Hey, nothing wrong with that, Immortal. Android tablets, still a good thing. and I'm kind of getting to where you're going. So hey, it's nothing to laugh at, Immortal. And you get some good stuff with yours, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, you just flip the Sony open, and this screen would populate just in seconds, and you just hit the button, and you're recording. And so this got me through a lot of things. It has a little hand handle, and I would usually put it on a tripod for like things like croats, things like that. Other things, you know, they're just going to move on you too fast. And if you can't get them to stay still, you have to either put it on, you know, a monopod or tripod, or move the tripod with the snake. So I do I did a lot of videos with this camera back in the day. Some of my earlier videos on this channel have some stuff that was shot with this camera. Although by the time I started this channel, I was kind of moving away from that. Then I wanted to. I keep showing this off. I'm proud of it. I like it. It's a great camera. It's the Sony A53, and they've kind of. I have a Rode shotgun mic plugged into it. This is the foam thing that sometimes you'll hear a strike go on. Hey, Coolin, good to have you. And sometimes like you'll hear like a strike and a puff, and sometimes it's like a snake accidentally hitting that. But like the A53, you flip it on and you're literally filming within seconds. The autofocus on this thing is great, and this is what I really get a lot of use out of, is the Sony AX53. It shoots in 4K. It's fairly easy to use. It has built-in image stabilization. So what that means is when you're moving the camera like this, the actual gimbal, the actual lens sets on a gimbal itself, so it minimizes shake, and it's a really good little piece of equipment. I want to say Sony has made a bigger, or not a bigger, but a more advanced video camera than that. Even though these Sony AX53s they're going about, I want to say they're about $600 now, $600. When I got that one, it was a $900 camera easily. And I always buy the protection plans with them if I can afford them at the time, because knowing me, I'm liable to drop it or bang it or something. But you know, a lot of people, you know, once again focus on, you know, they want to know what equipment you used, and it doesn't really matter. You can take like a Nikon Coolpix and get the most amazing shots with that thing if you get your subject in the right light, if you get it at the right angle. You know, so a lot of times, to me, one thing I always remind myself, and I can't help but think this is true of every photographer and even or videographer out there, for every 30 seconds of usable footage I get, I probably shoot an hour's worth of footage that just goes in the trash. You delete, you know, you delete it. And the same goes with photography. For every picture that you take that's good and usable, you probably shoot like 10 to 20 that aren't. One of my friends practices a technique that he calls spray and pray. And what he does is he takes a Canon camera and he sets it to 11 frames per second. So it takes 11 photographs, individual photographs, not video, in a second. And he just, you know, shoots everything. And he really goes after something from 5 or 6 different angles. Then he goes back later and then he edits out what he doesn't like, or he keeps the one he wants to keep, and the ones that were blurry, the ones that were bad, he just tosses. Um, hey, Moon over Miami, cooling with the crew. Thank you for stopping by. Venom Wonderful, good to see you tonight, bro. Been watching your channel, been getting caught up on some of your videos. Yours and Josue's. I got a little behind on you two guys. But believe me, I'm on it. I'm paying attention. So don't sweat it. I'll be around. But anyway, basically this is my main go-to, the Sony AX53. And Coolin, good night. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for subbing. I'm going to go check out your channel, probably sub you after this. I definitely appreciate it because I do, support those who support me. What I want people to get away from, though, is I appreciate that, Coolin. It's very nice to have you tonight. Very good for you to swing by. But I want people to get away from the concept that, the camera, the lens, this or that, one or the other, can do something for you. It's really not that. You can take almost any camera. Bubbles, how are you doing? It's good to have you, Bubbles Butterfly. It's always good to see you. Maybe a solo butterfly will show up, I hope. But, you can literally take any camera that takes any kind of decent picture, and you can get good video or good photographs out of it if you get like the aperture right, the focus right, the focal length right, the ISO settings right. And even if you are photographing things in auto mode, which I actually use a lot of, you can still, you hit the subject with the right lighting, the right conditions, and it's a stunning piece of work. And this isn't just my philosophy. I've talked to many other photographers who have said the same, and videographers. Ariel, I have to go back and replay your live. I could not catch your live. Please forgive me, Ariel. I'm a fan of yours. I just couldn't make your live this afternoon. It was a zoo around here. And well, I'm glad you did see my notification, because where I'm at, a lot of my regular watchers aren't going to be up and on the computer at this hour. It's 2 a.m. here. And I'm down to support you, Ariel. You know that. One thing that is amazing, which is an amazing tool. See you later, Moon over Miami. I'm so glad you stopped by. Is I'm going to get an old one. And this may be a little bit controversial as far as videographers go, but an iPhone. Now this is an old one. It belonged to my dad, and I think this is a 6 or 7 or something, maybe an 8. But iPhones are amazing. The cameras in them keep getting better and better. And I actually took a picture of a flower tonight and put it on my Instagram page. And a lot of people are really, really enjoying it and giving it thumbs up and kudos. And it's just an iPhone pic. The video and photography side of iPhones and Androids are just getting to where they're ridiculous. Go watch a lot of videos on YouTube, or not a lot, but a few. And look for a video like iPhone 12 versus Sony A7. Something like that. Start there. And what photographers are doing, and some YouTubers are doing, is they're taking a photograph or a video clip with an iPhone, and then they're taking the exact same photograph with a high-end pro camera like the Sony A7 IIIR. And these are people that know photography and people who are doing this professionally. And I kind of would think Sony or someone would get mad at them for this, but they're still putting out these videos, and what they're doing is they're showing the videos or the photographs side by side, and for an experienced eye or someone who gauges and critiques a lot of photos, you can tell that the professional Sony or the professional Nikon, the professional Canon gets a little bit better picture than the iPhone 12, which just hit the market, but it's not by much. Then if you have the editing skills for photography that I'm probably going to take a class on soon, because editing photography is something I want to get a little better at, like how to get the shades right, things like that. Sometimes you win and lose on those things just with what you roll with, but other times there's an art to tweaking it and making a photograph a little bit more dynamic. And but back to these videos, they show these photographs side by side, and like I said, if you look at it on a big screen, like on a computer monitor, if you look at it on a phone or a tablet, you will not see much difference. And sometimes they will do videos like, which one's this? Guess, and then guess the second one, and you're sitting there going, I really don't know. If you blow it up on a large screen or like an 8K TV, you can definitely kind of see, there's a little bit more definition in this one. There's a little bit more depth of field in this one. I'm going to say that's the Pro picture, that's the iPhone picture. And generally, what I look at is 90% of my audience, 90% of your audience is probably going to look at your Instagram account or your Facebook account or your YouTube account on their cell phone. Like the very same cell phone that I'm using to do this live. They're going to watch it on this. With my drone channel that I don't highly publicize because I'm still a beginner, I'm just putting video out there for fun. I've noticed that like when I watch it on my iPhone, my tablet, or even my computer, I don't pick up near as many details as when I use like a large TV screen. I cast it to my TV and watch it there generally before I release it to see if there's anything crazy in there. Another thing is this is a DJI Mavic 2 Pro. And these guys have come a long way in the last few years. And what I like to use these things for is I really like aerial photography and aerial videography. And I shoot a lot of different things with my drone, but you can get some amazing habitat shots or, B-roll scenery shots with your drone. And you pretty much just watch other drone pilots out there with successful channels and look at their shot and go, how did they do that? And then even some of them have tutorials on how to, color grade the footage and things like that. Some people use filters on their drones. Other people just, make it cooler in studio and in post. And I agree, Bubbles. The iPhones really do an amazing job, and then it's always in your pocket. And that's another thing is I don't always have my Sony AX53 with me. If I'm going to an area where I know I'm going to shoot, and I have a good chance of seeing something, I definitely make sure I take my AX53. I always take my GoPro. I take a whole bag of stuff because you never know what kind of tools you're going to need. But, it's like, anymore, probably about 50% of my footage is shot on my iPhone. My last 2 or 3 YouTube shorts have all been on my iPhone. And especially shooting vertical video, to me it's a lot easier to slap your iPhone on a selfie stick and get in the face of a snake when you find one. Now, sometimes I, hook them and get some other regular landscape footage of the animal as well when I'm doing that. But really, the iPhones are becoming so dynamic. They're shooting in full 4K. I think the iPhone 12 may even go up to 8K now, maybe 5K. I'm not sure. I know it's higher than 4K. Hey, Latin Patriot, glad you made it to the show. Glad to have you on board and glad to have you watching. But basically, and there's kind of the concept of, you do want to use the best technology you can use. I mean, it will, in the end, make your videos and photos look somewhat better. But at the same time, it's like if you can't be there in the right moment, the right time, the right lighting, even the best camera in the world is going to produce a really bad result. My Samsung Note goes to 8K. Okay, Ariel, can you put it in chat what a Samsung Note is? Is that a phone or is that a tablet? Because I've not heard of the Samsung Note off the top of my head. I would love to know. Okay, Sherry Lynn is saying it's a phone. Wow, that's interesting. Me being kind of more of an Apple person and a Sony, it's kind of like I've kind of worked on the Apple product side for so long. I do most of my editing on a Mac. I'll probably be sticking with iPhone. No offense to anyone, but the Samsung Note goes to 8K. I would be interested to know what the iPhone 12 goes to. I meant to look that up earlier because I heard it went to like 8K, but that you almost have to have an 8K television to, get the full effect of that. I'm sure you can upload 8K video to YouTube. Will it render or show as 8K, or will it still hang at 4K? Who knows? But either way, go look at the most popular videos right now. Ah, it's got a stylus. Ariel, thank you. It's got a stylus that is useful as a remote control. That's interesting. I need to go look at a video on that. Really, no, like I need to look at a video on that because that's just to me super interesting. Okay, Sherry, there's a 20 out, but you've got a 10. Sherry, is a 10 what you shoot on? Let me know. But once again, I underscore all the camera equipment in the world. That's why I don't chase a lot of technology. I have friends who are pretty much professional reptile photographers. You're right, Ariel. That is the highest resolution on YouTube. Even though I think people are starting to put 8K video tests on YouTube, I still don't think they show higher than 2160. So, I don't know that there's a lot of use for that yet, unless you're kind of trying to do other things off YouTube. But literally, you can go look at the most popular, I shouldn't say popular, the most viewed videos on platforms like Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. What you find out is something that's really entertaining, but might even be shot with crappy technology, a crappy old phone, but is still entertaining, will get 2 million views, where something you shot that isn't really that entertaining, but it's like got all the crisp, clear technology. It's 4K video. It's over the top audio. Something like that may get 400 or 500 views. So who's the wiser? I mean, it kind of depends on why you're doing photography, why you're doing videography. Cold-blooded Monstars, thank you for joining us tonight. I always like to see you. I need to get caught up on your channel, man. Do not hate me for it. I do need to get caught up on your channel, Cold Blooded. Do not be mad at me. I'm a little behind. It's definitely good to have you. And I'm Ariel. I'm the same way. Outside of a couple of drone videos that I edited for another channel, everything I do is 4K, 60 frames per second. I do a little 4K at 30 or 24 frames per second, but I don't like that nearly as much. And even if, like for the YouTube Shorts, I think they render. Sorry, gang, 1 second. It's that time of the year where everything's in bloom. Hey, Cold Blooded, you know I got you. You know I'll be around. You know I'm gonna hit your channel. But like I think the YouTube Shorts, unlike this live, for example, I'm gonna pull it up on my computer. 720 is the highest it'll go. The YouTube Shorts, I think I got one of them uploaded at 4K, but it didn't format and fill out the whole screen. And so, you know, and once again, not that I'm worried about that for a short, but like kind of like a feature link, you know, 6 to 15 minute video that I want to make, that I really want to do well on, that I really want to pull everything in. I'm definitely going to worry about resolution on that. I've had a couple of drone videos that I've shot on my other channel where it's just me, you know, getting started. And usually it edits in, or it films in 4K, and you can set it to film in 4K, but you got to watch like iMovie and make sure your settings are right and set it up as a new project, because sometimes it will like default to 1080 and you can upload it, and if you're not watching what's going on, you can upload it at 1080 when it's 4K footage. Excuse me. So I try not to do that. Ariel, I have the exact same observation. The 60 frames per second, sometimes it looks like a little quicker on like a computer or a tablet or a phone, but it looks like super smooth on a large TV. And one thing I don't feel it's a secret, or that it's something I wouldn't really throw out there. But if I have like a full-length video that like I'm really wanting to knock out of the park, like it's going to have good stock footage that literally I want someone to say, hey, I want to buy that from you. I mean, let's not lie. My rattlesnake footage that I put a lot of work into getting, I really do. I mean, I do that with the goal of not only just pushing it on YouTube and getting followers, but I also want to sell that to Nat Geo or Animal Planet, and I don't care what they do with it. I mean, because someone's going to sell it to them, might as well be me. Stuff like that, like I do worry about the resolution, but a lot of times it's just not as important as we make it. And Joe Satori, who's a famous photographer for Nat Geo, said the same thing. He said, you know, don't always chase technology. Technology is good, but, you know, getting the right light, getting the right shot, being ready at the right time outweighs, you know, what camera you're working with. Okay, we've got a question from Latin Patriot. Has anyone got a glimpse of Bigfoot or heard anything that could be Bigfoot while out herping? I need my friend Squatchy Herper in here. He calls himself Squatchy Herper because he kind of does look like Sasquatch. It's been a long time since the boy's seen a razor. Not gonna lie. Matter of fact, we're gonna start a GoFundMe. It's called Buy Timmy a Norelco, and we're gonna send him a razor over in Arkansas, and oh my gosh, that'd be too much fun. And he's gonna see this tomorrow because like he watches everything I do. He will see this. I'm following his daily vlogs. It's Adventures with Squatchy, I think. He changed his channel name around because he started doing daily vlogs. Still doing the herping videos, and he's had some good ones, but he's kind of wanting to incorporate daily vlogs into it. I agree, Sherry. Bigfoot probably herps, although my guess is if he does it for food. I personally have never heard anything that I thought was Bigfoot. There have been times where I've been out in the woods, sometimes by myself, sometimes with one other person, and it's like your flashlight dies, your partner's flashlight dies, or you just lose batteries at the same time, or you get lost a little off the beaten path, and you're out in the woods and you hear something, and in your head, it's either Bigfoot, locals who are stalking you, and you may have wandered onto their land and they're getting ready to shoot you, or it's Bigfoot, or it's a satanic cult with a lot of knives. These things happen when you field herp. You bring your equipment, you bring your stuff. Uh, you don't always get lost. Most of the times you don't, but it can happen, and your battery can die at exactly the most horrific moment. It's happened to me. Right. Or and we do have a lot of black bear down here, where I won't say where I herp. Their population is growing in the state so much that they've opened a hunting season on them. We've had them wander into some cities. And feral hogs, we've got a lot of feral hogs, and those are things that are really scary to encounter. But 9 out of 10, the scariest thing you're going to find when you're out hiking, out herping, out doing field photography is other people. The people are a lot scarier than anything. Animals generally only hurt you if they feel threatened. And most of the times, human animal encounters are just horrifically innocent as compared to human animal. You get into some really sketchy areas when you go field herping, at least like out where I do. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I go down like a county or two south, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on out in the country. A lot of people like to, like, if they're running a meth lab, they may not want to operate that in the city, so they do it out in the country. And then they see you stop and get out of your vehicle right in front of their house. They're okay, let's say they're already paranoid from doing meth. So they start, tripping and thinking, is this guy a cop? Is he scoping me? And you think like that. We try never, when you're road cruising and field herping, we try never to stop in front of someone's house. It's like the absolute worst thing you can do in the country. A lot of times people have dogs and they don't have fences. Dogs will get after you. You have to make it back to the truck. It can be a real pain. And 9 out of 10, you're going to find your target species right in front of one of those houses with like 6 free roaming pit bulls, and it just so sucks. All that and more, Sherry. And you don't know what someone's thinking. You literally don't. And you can definitely you definitely have to be aware of your surroundings, and that's the thing that to me makes shooting an already dangerous snake in a dangerous environment with all these unknown factors. I mean, to me, it deserves extra kudos. It's not like photographing a model in a studio where you get to set up perfect lighting. The model walks in, does the pose, has on the clothes, whatever, doing what they do, and you get a lot of photographs, and you can take your time. You can sit there, focus, and let me try this, let me try that. Those are things you don't have when photographing wild animals. But I veered off subject a little bit. But basically, people hit me up on a really, really good video and say, that guy has an amazing camera. Well, yeah, I do. Or I have one that's, I would say, better than average, but it's generally not the camera so much as the shot that I got with that camera and finding the right subject and the right lighting and it being still and letting me photograph it. Now, there have been times where I've accidentally mislabeled videos because I try to say in the video what equipment I use. And there have been times where I've shot with my older Sony CX260. Gotta look at it again. It's been a while since I've used it. But I've shot with the Sony CX260 and I've labeled it the AX53 by accident. Start getting comments in the comments section. That's great. I love my AX53. It does all that and more. And you're sitting there going, oh gosh, I need to change this, but I kind of don't want to pull the comments because it's going so well. And once again, that's not every video you do, that's just some. But anyway, I'm going to cut out of here pretty quick. I didn't plan on a long live tonight. I was initially going to go live and bring on a person as a guest. They were unable to make it, and that's totally fine. They had a long day at work. I get it. I'm going to have a long day tomorrow. So remember, it's not always about what kind of camera you use, how expensive the lens is. Do you have the newest GoPro? It's not about that. It's about right place, right time, right lighting, right attitude. And I feel that this philosophy applies to both photography and videography. And once again, ultimately, in photography and videography, you want people to like your work. No one takes a picture or video, posts it on the internet, on YouTube, Instagram, Flickr, whatever, says, I really hope people bash my video. I really hope people bash my photo. We don't do that. None of us do that. We all want... now, once again, I also am not far into approval seeking. I definitely haven't jumped on some trends before that I feel like I could have really done and done well, done better than the people that are doing them successfully now. To me, it's not all about a popularity contest. It's about documenting my trips and getting good video and photos along the way. So you kind of got to balance between your equipment and the right attitude. And some of the greatest photographers in the world that are alive today in their 40s and 50s started with a Nikon Coolpix or something like that. A $200 camera they saved their lawn mowing money from to get when they were a teenager. And they mastered the basics of good video, or they mastered the basics of good photography. So I want to leave you guys with that. We're closing in on an hour. Latin. I love that Panamint alligator lizard because those aren't things. We have a Texas alligator lizard down in Texas, which is south of Oklahoma, and I love those things. I love that whole family of lizards. Don't get to see those often enough. But also, do not get discouraged if you're working with older equipment or cheaper equipment. Do some research. Join a Facebook group for a Sony 550 or something like that, something that's older, and you will see that people are still getting these amazing photographs or amazing videos with a camera that some people in the industry would consider outdated or bad. Never let that stuff get to you. Get out there and do what you do. And remember, the more video you shoot, the more photographs you take, you're just going to get better at it. The more you practice it, the more you do it. It's kind of like hitting a golf ball. I can't even hit a golf ball, for example. If I tried it 50 times a day, I'd probably get to where I could hit it. Same concept with photographing and doing video. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. It's as simple as that. Gang, I appreciate those of you who showed up to this live. I'm sorry it was so late. You all in the chat, I know you guys follow me, follow my channel. Y'all mean the world to me. I really appreciate you checking this. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button. And I will see you guys later. Leave any questions down below. If you have questions about older equipment, it might be something I've worked with or I've got a friend that's working with. Drop it in the comments below. I do check the comments on these lives after I drop them, and I keep them up. So please, if there's something I can help you with, let me know, because I would like to. Until next time, Sherry Lynn, Ariel, Cold-Blooded, Latin, everybody, Lawrence, anybody I forgot, thank you for stopping by. You have a good evening.